Hey everybody, welcome back to the Combo Couch. So, the DNC, as many of you know, has long been the villain in the story against progressives. We saw what happened in 2016. We saw this election in 2020 and how much of a sham that was. And a lot of people, unfortunately, felt like, hey, guess what? Maybe the DNC might actually work with Bernie supporters this time because guess what? They're asking us to vote for Joe Biden, even though Joe Biden is the architect of the system that Trump is now exploiting. So you would think that maybe, just maybe, Joe Biden and the DNC would give us something. Anything. I mean, if they really want to beat Donald Trump, Democrats haven't been doing themselves any favors, even though the Republican Party has been terrible and Trump has been terrible in handling the economy and handling coronavirus. Democrats have done so much damage that it is really like, nope, it's like not enough to say that this is Joe Biden's election to win. So you would think that they would do something to try to get progressives. A lot of people who voted for Bernie Sanders, the thousands and thousands of people and millions of volunteers who were so excited about his campaign, who are completely just done. They're just done with the Democrats. So, hey, you could at least give these people Medicare for all. But no, instead the DNC decides to vote against Medicare for all. And the DNC actually voted 36 yes to 125 no with 3 abstentions against Medicare for all.
Voting has closed on this amendment. The motion was not approved by the members, and the language as proposed will remain unchanged. There were 36 yes, 125 no, and 3 abstentions.
The vast majority of the people on this platform committee voted against giving people health care during a pandemic. I mean, let's just start right there. Giving health care should be absolutely no-brainer. And instead, what they've done is say, no, we're just going to give you COBRA. We're going to keep big pharma and the insurance companies in there and these lobbyists in there to make the legislation, to sit at the table, because our money that we're getting from these fucks is far more important than anything you guys are going through, even during a pandemic. And this is what I mean by the DNC and the Democrats. There's no working with them. You can't work with criminals like this. I mean, these are not just petty criminals or people stealing because they're hungry or they're poor. These are rich people stealing from the poor. There's a big difference there. People always want to frame it one way or the other. And we're in the middle of a pandemic and you're telling people that you're not going to give them health care. You're literally sending them to die. So a lot of people were really upset about the DNC and were like, oh, I can't believe they did this. I'm so surprised. I just thought they would give us something. Well, what the fuck did you guys expect? I mean, this is what I want to say, and I don't want to sound insensitive, but what did you expect considering the fact that from the beginning, the Sanders campaign was co-opted entirely by the establishment to the point where the delegates selected could not have said anything against Joe Biden or said anything like never Biden, or who could never even hold him accountable on his real life factual policy stances. Like from the beginning, you weren't going to be a delegate if you felt that way, or unless you kept it really hidden. And that's how they operated. So they chose delegates for Bernie who were going to be extremely soft. And people on the platform committees, the same thing. They chose people who were going to be soft, who weren't necessarily against working with the Democratic Party or even holding them accountable, who, you know, it's a platform committee. We have to work together. But you couldn't oppose anything. You couldn't bring up why we need Medicare for all. It was failed from the start, you guys. This is why we've been talking about our elections being a failure. This is why we've been talking about nonstop about the corruption in the Bernie campaign. This is why we've been talking about how this is all a sham, and the whole process about pushing Biden left is bullshit when you don't control that. You do not push politicians left when there is money involved. I'm sorry, they're going to listen to the money. They're not going to listen to you. So I don't understand why all these same people that were saying I was being negative, that we need a strategy where we work and we push, and with Joe Biden we can further push. No, you can't. Because guess what? The same people are in charge, the same oligarchs, the same military industrial complex, the same CIA, the same Department of Homeland Security that was placed there by the CIA. The same mechanisms are in charge, the same lobbyists, the same corporate control. You cannot push anybody left when they're taking that money. I'm so sorry to break it to you, but that is a reality that we have to come to terms with. Let's look at all the names of these people who voted against Medicare for all. I'm going to read off some. Alex Padilla, Secretary of State in charge of our elections in California, voted no for Medicare for all. For all of you that think our elections are fair, do you really think this guy was fair when he was going around doing events for Hillary Clinton in 2016, and now this time around literally knew how corrupt our elections were? We were telling him, and he completely said it was all conspiracy, said that the elections were fine, and it was all a bunch of bullshit. That guy, yeah. And then we have Hilda Solis, another great California politician, neoliberal, who was trying to get progressives by saying that, it's okay, Bernie here, Bernie there. No, this is the bullshit I'm talking about. The co-option that we have to be mindful of. And there's Keisha Lance Bottoms, this one right here. She said no on Medicare for all. She is the mayor of Atlanta. Okay, Atlanta is one of the blackest cities in America. We're talking like straight up one of the blackest cities in America. We have seen amazing protests there against police brutality, for Black lives. Yet we have seen the Black population suffer at the highest rates for COVID, right? And there's still the mayor, who herself is Black, is still voting against Medicare for all. Why do you think that is? I don't know. Maybe it's the money she's taking. I mean, this is not rocket science here. It really takes no time to find the money ties as to why these people are taking the money. But to do that to a group of people who are highly affected in your city by coronavirus is to send them to death. These politicians are literally killing us. The Democrats and Republicans are both one big aisle. The difference is Republicans will kill you out front and not bat an eye, and Democrats will pretend to be your friend, then repeatedly stab you in the back or poison you with arsenic, and you don't know, and they're laughing with you, they're having dinner with you, but they're feeding you arsenic until you die a slow, painful death. And by the time you realize it, it's too late. That is how the Democratic Party is. They literally will put hashtag Black Lives Matter on their Twitter. They'll put it on the corporations they support, but it's all symbolic bullshit. None of it is tangible solutions. And so we have to stop once again. All of you who are still trying to work within the Democratic Party, I understand where you're coming from, at least at a local level. I understand, but really? They're like, start building outside. Nothing that we have ever wanted in this country was accomplished by electoral politics, like alone. It wasn't. You could talk about the civil rights movement that many of you really want to emulate and really love, yet we're not doing that right now because we need more of us in the streets. What you see in Portland should be happening in every single major city, and we should have a list of demands of the things we want. Until we actually get organized like people back then were, we're really not going to see the solutions until we actually aren't afraid to take back our power against the Democratic Party and tell them, no, we're not going to vote for you. You haven't given us anything. But at this point, progressives, what did you fucking expect the DNC to do when you've already told them, I'm going to vote for Joe Biden because I got to get rid of Trump? You've already said that they don't need to do anything. Okay? There's no negotiation. You already told them, okay, well, I'm going to vote for Joe Biden no matter what because I'm blue no matter who. Those are the delegates they chose. Those are the people on those platform committees. That's it. Only 300 out of 1,000 Bernie delegates. Oh, I'm sorry. The number went up to upper 400s. Signed a petition to hold their vote if they didn't get Medicare. Out of the over 1,000 Bernie delegates. That just tells you, none of you have a fucking spine. Grow a pair, grow a spine, okay, and stand up for yourselves and for the people. Because right now, people are being killed. They're being killed by being denied health care. This is like the minimum that the Democratic Party should give if they were really serious about defeating Donald Trump. We are in the middle of a pandemic. And even with a pandemic and economic collapse, they refuse to give you something as basic that nearly every major country on earth has: health care for all people. It is beyond disgusting. And any of you trying to work within the system that is so fascistic and so psychopathic in its nature are really just working in a rigged game that you will never ever defeat. You cannot expect these politicians and these people to do the work. They're not going to do it because you're not demanding it. You're already saying, no matter what, we're going to stick with you because of fucking Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not like, he is the symptom of the very big problem that led to his election. It is worth saying that if we don't defeat the mechanisms that led to his election, we're going to elect someone far worse the next time. Believe me, we will, because that is how these things happen. This is why we've had years of neoliberalism that have led to fascism. I mean, this is where we're at, America. And not only did they deny people health care, these same freaking bootlicking neoliberal Democrats also voted against the legalization of marijuana. What does that mean? Oh, marijuana legalization is one of the largest things that would completely get rid of the impoverished and criminalized communities of color, especially Black and brown communities that are in jail as a result of marijuana convictions and felonies. Like, right away, you make marijuana legal, all of that goes away. Let's be serious here. If they really cared about Black lives, if they really cared about Donald Trump's racism and all the rhetoric he's putting out that is being emboldening all these people that are actually racist, emboldening all of these groups of white supremacy to come out. If the Democrats really cared about defeating that, 100%, they would say, you know what, we're going to legalize marijuana. We're going to rehabilitate people who are in prison for drugs, because guess who put those drugs in there? Oh, the CIA exploited the Black community when it came to cocaine. They all went to jail, but those CIA operatives did not. All of this, all to promote our militarism and our imperialism. People don't like to talk about that. Well, let's talk about it, because it's affecting our domestic fucking issues at home. You don't give a shit about imperialism because it's not your country, because your world is too busy and you can't look up because it's capitalism, and I get it, it's late stage, but guess what? All of that imperialism and all the bullshit we've done abroad is coming back and biting us in the ass. We just approved a $740 billion military budget that is literally like giving money to Israel, and we can't even put in our own DNC platform that we can say that Israel is an occupation, that it's occupying Palestine. No, they denied that too. Absolutely 100%. You cannot say that now. What kind of fucking Zionist party are the Democrats? They are bought by AIPAC. There's no denying that. We gave billions to Israel in money. We literally fund Israel, and they then go and commit atrocities and human rights abuses all over the world, just like we do. It's the same thing with Saudi Arabia. We don't give a damn about Syria, Yemen, or Palestine. Oh, I guess they're just brown African communities we don't care about. We only shout BLM on American soil because that's where our boundaries lie. I'm calling out the fucking hypocrisy in not just the Democratic Party, but the progressive movement. The progressive movement for too long has completely turned a blind eye into imperialism all the time. Like, you can't even mention that. Who has vilified people like Tulsi Gabbard, who have been far decent on foreign policy, and has made them out to be Republicans when that's not the case, and who has propped up people like Elizabeth Warren, and even people like AOC, who hasn't really done herself wonders on foreign policy as of yet. And I just think that if we're going to be hypocrites, don't call yourself a leftist. You can call yourself a progressive because that word is tarnished, but don't call yourself a leftist. You're not a real leftist unless you're fighting for that mentality of inclusivity and socialism and equality, not just on your ground, but throughout the world. And by letting the Democratic Party hold you hostage and denying you Medicare for all, denying the legalization of marijuana, denying the rights of Palestinians, or of all of us, to talk about how Israel is an occupation, that they don't care about your civil liberties. They don't care about your First Amendment. Nothing that the Democrats are doing has garnered any sort of support. So why the hell are you giving them anything. Why are you going to sit there and tell me that at least Joe Biden is in the Supreme Court justices? You're making assumptions that, first of all, that with Supreme Court justices, it's all going to be fair and dandy. Ruth Bader Ginsburg had a lot of issues with race when, as a Supreme Court justice, she literally just voted to build another pipeline. Stop giving me the fucking bullshit Supreme Court justice argument when people are being killed, not just at home, but also abroad. We are literally killing poor people everywhere. And the fact that nobody is really paying attention, I'm at my wit's end with the Democratic Party and with progressives who are pretty much carrying water for the Democratic Party, because they're a bunch of fucking spineless individuals who really just want to sit there and pretend that Democrats are better when they're not. And I'm just so sick and tired of seeing it from the likes of TYT and all of these neo-progressive lefties who think they're lefties, but they're not. They're fucking imperialists, and who literally sit there and pretend that they're so woke because they shout BLM, or because they do this shit. Dude, like, half of them don't even go on the ground and do the reporting. Like, stop. Like, let's be real here for once in our fucking lives and hold these people accountable. And I'm just going to go summarize all the shit that the DNC just did, by the way. So here it is. You cannot include the word occupation in the party platform's language on Palestine. No Medicare for all during a pandemic. No legalization of marijuana, especially during a police brutality BLM movement, which is the antithetical to that. And no extension of unemployment, and there are more than 30 million Americans unemployed. August 1st, unemployment goes away. The eviction moratorium ends. We're having a giant tsunami of economics, and all the fucking DNC, the neoliberal media, is talking about is, oh, Donald Trump's so terrible. We just have to get him out of office. But Trump. You are literally, like, so vile. There's nothing to gain from the Democratic Party. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. I don't care what you say. Literally, factually, policy-wise, there is nothing to gain from the Democratic Party at this point. The best thing to do is to not vote for them, vote third party, or don't vote. Go out in the streets and let them know why. Go to their houses, make them uncomfortable. Oh, I can't. If you go to a politician's house no, dude, go to the fucking houses, yell at them. That is where we're at. That's what we have to do right now. And I think until we do that and we really understand that our power is out in the streets and not in the electorate, because we have given up all our power in the electorate, including Bernie Sanders, who is literally saying Joe Biden's going to be the most progressive president since FDR. Are you kidding me? Since FDR? What policies, Bernie, AOC, Ilhan Omar, the squad, what policies, even Angela Davis, what policies of Joe Biden's are really going to be better than Trump's? Because I'm really not seeing it here. If anything, I'm seeing it's going to be worse foreign policy wise. So you know what? Let's stop taking foreign policy imperialism off the table, and let's start to understand how that directly connects with all the fucking money that we give our military that we don't give our people. Be elected this progressive, then this progressives turn around and do what? Call Nancy Pelosi Mama Bear, start like not opposing the party. Your fucking job was to oppose the party. Okay, great. You removed Elliot Engel. Now you turn around and say your policies are the same as Joe Biden's? Are you serious? Like, what is the point then? Until we get rid of the Democratic Party, we're not going to see results. And I can point to Shama Sawant. The fact that she's a socialist alternative member and not a Democrat, all the things she was able to do in Seattle, that shows you the Democratic Party cripples you. I don't care if whatever you feel about the Green Party because of the elections, or vote peace and freedom, then write somebody else in. It doesn't matter, because it's not about electing another puppet. It is about understanding your power and understanding what we can do to take it back. So fuck the Democrats, fuck the DNC, fuck the whole system. Get out in the streets, organize together. We can do this. I have been traveling to so many protests, and what I'm seeing is a need to organize and a need to have direct list of demands, specifics. And once we do that, I think we're going to be able to get things done. So thanks for watching, guys. As always, check out our Patreon. Please support us there. You could also support us on Rokfin, another cryptocurrency platform, because we keep getting shadow banned and deplatformed. So check us out on, of course, YouTube, subscribe, click the bell, anything you guys can do to help, donate in any other way, just let us know. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Combo out.